Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome on board. Thanks for tuning in. So we got quite a few requests asking for more systems explanations on the A320, and I'm more than happy to do that. So here's going to be an explanation about the hydraulic system and the air conditioning system of the Airbus A320. Now keep in mind, my tutorials are not going to be like reading off a chart theoretical stuff. I want to show you how you can practically use this stuff in the cockpit. All right, as a pilot, how you interact with these things. I mean, if you want to know the theory, you become an engineer or just download the Airbus FCOM and get it that way. So we're going to start with the hydraulic system. All right, so on our SD page, systems page, which is the lower page, all right, you can change the screen to the various systems that we have on the aircraft. So I'm going to select hydraulics, all right, and that's going to bring up the hydraulic page. The first thing you want to understand about what you're looking at on the hydraulic page are the reservoirs, or as they say in France, au reservoir. Bad joke. Moving on. All right, so the reservoirs are these guys over here, the hydraulic fluid that's inside of the the hydraulic system. The first thing you want to do is always check that the reservoirs are nicely topped up. Now the hydraulic system is broken down into three parts. Okay, you got the green hydraulics, the blue hydraulic system, and the yellow hydraulic system. And smack in the middle of all of them is what's called the PTU. Okay, the power transfer unit or pressure transfer unit. The actual form for P escapes me right now, but I'll fix it, don't worry. So let's just say the power transfer unit. Okay, that's going to help you transfer the pressure, the hydraulic pressure between green and blue systems. All right, so green, as you can see, this number 1 over here, green is powered by engine number 1. All right, the engine on the left hand side powers the green hydraulic unit. The yellow hydraulic unit is controlled by engine number 2, and the blue hydraulic unit is powered by an electrical generator. All right, so it could be the batteries, it could be external power, it could be the ram air turbine if we're flying and we're fast enough for the blades to spin on the ram air turbine, and that will power. So that's generally used in the case of an emergency. If we lose the engines, we can always use the blue system to provide hydraulic pressure to the aircraft. Okay, now hydraulics in this aircraft are extremely important. All right, the reason they're important is because you cannot move the control surfaces, the wings, the spoilers, the flaps, the elevators, the trimmable horizontal stabilizers, the landing gear. All this stuff works off hydraulics because they're massive, big, heavy units, and hydraulic pressure allows us to move these units like they were featherweight. So losing the hydraulics on the aircraft can be a bad thing. But the beauty of Airbus is the beauty of the Airbus A320 and Airbuses in general is they've given us a lot of redundancy in the hydraulic unit. All right, so basically right now the engines are powered down. Okay, and basically right now the hydraulics are offline because the main engines are turned off. All right, now let's just say if the hydraulic pressure was low, the accumulator pressure, all right, was low. To pressurize the hydraulics, all you have to do is turn on the electrical hydraulic pump. All right, which right now, if we come up to the electrical page, you can see that we are running off the external power right over there. So if you want to watch a tutorial about the electrical system, I'll link it in the description box below. You can watch that to see how we can obtain power from the various power sources we have on board the aircraft. As of right now, I'm running off external power. I do have the APU running for that glorious air conditioning, but I'm using the external power for now to power the aircraft. And now that the aircraft is powered on, all right, right now it's all showing low pressure because the hydraulics are off. Now I'm going to power on the hydraulics using the electrical hydraulic pump. The way we do that is on the overhead panel. Now in an Airbus A320, it's easy to find the panels because Airbus went through great lengths to label the various systems. So right here is air conditioning, electrical, fuel, hydraulics, all right? And here you have the switches to manipulate the various hydraulic systems we have on the aircraft. So, and you also have it on the first officer's side as well. So you can easily quick navigate the overhead panel, all right? So now I want to get the hydraulics going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, go to hydraulics, and I find the electrical hydraulic pump, which is this guy right over here. I'm going to push this button here, and as soon as I push it, look at that. The electrical hydraulic pump is now active. It's pressurizing the yellow system, and the yellow system is sending power via the PTU to the green system. So both hydraulics are now fully pressurized, all right? Let me show you another thing, why I would do this, okay? For example, if the hydraulic, okay, let me turn the electrical hydraulic pump off for now, okay? Just to show you what works and what doesn't work. All right, so we turned off the electrical pump, the pressurization is dropping, and we've got no hydraulic power now. Again, it's back to its off position. Let me bring the flight control page. Now, as you can see, none of these things are pressurized. All right, none of the flight controls are pressurized. That's why they're showing amber. All right, and you can see that the ailerons are operated by the blue and green hydraulic system. The rudder is pressurized or controlled by the green, blue, and yellow hydraulic system. The elevators on the left side are powered by the blue and green hydraulic system, and yellow and blue for the right elevators. So that's how the speed brakes are operated by the green, blue, and yellow hydraulic system. It's pretty straightforward, all right? Now that everything is depressurized, all right, because if you bring the hydraulic page, now watch what happens if I work the flap. So this is my flap indicator, right? I'm gonna select the flap. I'm gonna go with flap 1. I get the flap indication, but they're not moving because I have no hydraulic power to move them, all right? So I'm just gonna go back to flaps 0. Nothing happened, all right? None of the flight controls moved. I can even move my side stick, all right, around, and as you can see, nothing's happening. All right, I'm moving the side stick, all right, and none of the control surfaces are moving because no hydraulics. Now let's come back to the hydraulic page, and let's come back up here, and let's pressurize the hydraulics on the ground. Push. All right, here comes the hydraulics. You'll hear like a sound of a dog barking in the background. It's not a dog. That's the PTU. It makes that kind of a sound. So if you like dogs, you'd like the PTU. So we've got 3000 psi there. Why the PTU? 2900 psi on the green system. Lovely, nicely pressurized. Now that the hydraulics are available, look what happens with the flight control page. Now that we have the green and yellow systems, right? Now that we have the green and yellow systems active, the flight controls are working. So let me go for the flaps again. Let's go flaps 1. Now look, the flaps are working. We have hydraulic pressure. The flaps are definitely moving. I can come flaps up again. There you go, flaps are moving. Now look at the flight controls. I'm going to move the rudder to the right. See that? Now the rudder actually moves, and if some guy was at the back cleaning the rudder, he'd get slapped in the face right now. I do apologize. We actually have to tell the ground crew before we pressurize the hydraulics and make sure that there's nobody near any of the wings or control surfaces. But yeah. Anyway, now as you can see, everything's working. If I pull on the side stick, I hope you can see it. See that? All the control surfaces are moving now because we have hydraulics. Awesome. Right? Okay, so now we've got the hydraulics working off the electrical pump. All right, let's go ahead and switch off the electrical pump. And now what we're going to do is make sure the APU bleed is on. We're going to go ahead and start the engines. All right, so I'm going to go ignition start, and because I want the hydraulic, now we know that the electrical pump is connected to the yellow system, which is running off engine number 2. So if I power up the engine number 2, basically it's going to transfer, and the same for engine number 1. So I'm going to start engine number 1. All right, up and forward. Here we go, starting the engines. N2's rotating. I hope I set the parking brake. I have. Otherwise you don't want to, the aircraft to roll into duty free. All right, so engine number 1 is coming alive. As that engine comes to life, let's see what happens on the hydraulic page. Look at that. Because the engine's already pressurizing, the green hydraulic system is pressurized. As that engine stabilizes, look at that. The blue hydraulic system is now coming to life as well. So we have the green and blue hydraulic system active now, which is operated by engine number 1. Right? So that's going to be sufficient, because if we come back to flight controls, as you can see, we've got green and blue. So that is sufficient to move all the control surfaces. You can safely fly the aircraft with just the green system. All right? However, now coming back to hydraulics, we want the yellow system. So we can either go by PTU and we can turn on the electrical pump over here, which is connected to the yellow system, or let's just go ahead and start engine number 2, up and forward. Okay, so now the yellow system is pressurizing via the PTU, but we're still showing amber here. All right, it's still showing amber because the engine hasn't started yet. Once engine number 2 is alive and available, you will see that this will become white, and that means it's active, and that the yellow hydraulic system is being fully powered by engine number 2, while the green system is powered by engine number 1. So yeah, waiting, and there we go. The engine is now available, and the yellow system is active. All right, so that's how the hydraulics are working. Off the engines, you can power them on using the electrical pump, provided you have a power source, ground power or APU, or you can power them using engine 1 and engine 2. All right, now let's just say the yellow hydraulic system fails. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to turn off the yellow hydraulic pump. Boom. All right, we get a master caution, yellow hydraulic pump, low pressure. But look at that, even though there's low pressure on the yellow hydraulic pump, the PTU takes care of it. All right, the PTU is a very, very important piece of equipment. So the PTU right now is taking care, transferring power from the green system over to the yellow system. Let's turn that pump back on again. And then the yellow pump gets repressurized, and the PTU will go off in just a second. Now the PTU is not connected anymore. Now let's turn off the green system. Green hydraulic system is going off. Here we go. It lost a little bit of pressure, but immediately the PTU kicked in and it's putting the pressure back in. There we go. And that is how basically the hydraulic systems work. So I'm going to turn the hydraulics back on again, and there we go. So that, my friends, is how you work the hydraulics. All right, so I hope you found this useful, and yeah, do like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and let me know in the comments below what else you'd like to learn in terms of various systems on board the aircraft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Bye bye.